This is commercial architecture market analysis. Kel Farnan.
I'm Ty Stanley.
I'm Jason Lopez.
I'm Caden Boersma.
What is architecture? Architecture is the art and science behind every building and structure that are functional, durable, safe, and pleasing to the eye. Architects are the masterminds behind the creation of buildings. They create the they create and oversee the construction process, making sure it meets all the requirements. Before we dive into what a commercial architect is, we want to go over what the other types of architects are.
So the other type of architects are residential architects. Number one, these are the architects who specialize in residential buildings such as homes, apartments, and condominiums. Number two, commercial architects. These architects stick to creating buildings for commercial sized businesses, which we will taking a deep look at in this presentation. Number three, landscape architects. These architects design outdoor spaces, which are include parks, gardens, and recreational areas. They take environmental factors and to create functional, beautiful landscapes. And last but not least, sustainable or green architects. These architects focus on making environmentally friendly design principles, which incorporate energy efficient systems and sustainable materials, minimizing ecological impact. So, what is a commercial architect? A commercial architect is the mastermind behind the design and creation of a business appearance to the people. They focus on corporations and firms, but also public buildings like schools, hospitals, and stores. While they focus on the main functionalities, they also focus on efficiency, safety, and alignment of business goals while coordinating with contractors, engineers, designers, and city regulations.
So what do regulations look like for a commercial architect? The federal requirements, ADA, accessibility standards for buildings, OSHA influences safe design for workers and construction sites, EPA regulations, air, water, waste, and environmental impact rules, energy standards, efficiency for and HVAC, for the national safety standards, the NFPA codes, fire protection, alarms, sprinklers, electrical safety, the ICC codes. We'll just go through building, fire, mechanical, and plumbing safety. And for our state requirements, state modified building codes, professional licensing, stamping, and conduct laws, state energy codes, stormwater rules, and environmental requirements. And then for local/city requirements, local amendments to buildings and fire codes, zoning, land use, height, and setback rules, permit approvals, inspections, and occupancy procedures. So who they work with, commercial architects work with three main groups: structural engineers, general contractors, and interior designers. All these work together to make the most functional and safe building for people in the commercial business world.
So as Caden said, the first type of people that commercial architects work with are structural engineers. These super important on the job site. So basically, architects work with structural engineers to ensure that the building is feasible and safe. Obviously, that's very important. Safety is number one priority. They also help access the structural integrity of the building's framework and give inputs during the design and construction phase. Also, super important. And then as we go to our next, uh, you know, I would say person, that you work with on a job site, would be general contractors. These are the guys that make it happen. General contractors manage the construction process. They work with architects, make sure, everything lines up with the design and, stays aligned with the quantity standards. So,
And for the last one of those three is the interior designer. The interior designer is an architect that works with an interior that create functional and pleasing interior space and environment. This relationship helps to make the interior of the building match the architectural vision. So kind of architect to please the eye. Um, and yeah. So why does this job exist? Commercial architecture exists because Business and public services require buildings designed to handle large numbers of people, complex activities, and strict safety regulations that ordinary homes or residential buildings can't meet. These buildings must also meet different codes for fire safety, zoning, and structural integrity, rather than a residential home or business would need.
For the labor market, the market for a commercial architecture job is growing. Between 2022 and 2023, the labor market grew by 4.8% due to the demand for experience in sustainable design, digital modeling, and project management skills. The market for commercial architects is expected to grow another 5% over the next 10 years due to population growth, demand for construction and renovation projects, replacing retired workers, emerging technologies, including AI, and a deeper focus on sustainable design. For the market demand, the demand for architects depends on how much construction is happening in the economy. For commercial architects, the demand for jobs depends on the area you are in and the growth potential in that area. These areas are with the areas with the most demand for a commercial architect are fast growing states like California, Washington, and New York. There are also areas outside of these states like Chicago, Kansas City, Dallas, St. Louis, and so many more where there are a higher demand for architects. While commercial architects create new buildings, they also restore and renovate old buildings. They fall back into these buildings to meet the new requirements and needs of the space. One example of that being the old buildings in downtown Kansas City with people that had commercial architects renovated on the inside to make a functional and safe space to run businesses out of.
So for the market supply, you know, the supply of architects depends on how many people have the right education and license to work. That's pretty self-explanatory. You have to be able to, you know, you have to be able to, show that show that you know what you're doing. And most architects need a college degree in architecture, and must pass an exam before becoming licensed. That's a very important exam. It's pretty hefty. I know some people that have taken it, and it's not easy. And it takes several years to become fully qualified, which can limit how many new architects enter the field. And, becoming a commercial architect, you keep your job because of the stability and security they provide, as well as the opportunities for growth and achievements. People who want to become architects, they need creativity, they need patience, and they need to have teamwork skills. Those are really important to have, and you kind of have to have them, or else you're just not going to be very successful. And most commercial architects, they don't really quit because of the job. It's pretty flexible, for most environments. And you know if they do retire, approximately 13% of architects are over the age of retirement. Um, and yes, so the prediction and outcomes of the market, the market for architects will always be growing, with the advancements of AI and new sustainable technologies impacting how architects and builders collaborate. And innovators in commercial architecture are prioritizing energy efficiency, adaptability, and well-being centered spaces, redefining how we experience commercial spaces. The industry for commercial buildings is expected to grow, by 4.1% in total construction spending, which will definitely cause a growth in revenue for sure.
So, how to go about becoming a commercial architect if you ever want to be? You can earn a NAAB accredited architecture degree, build a strong portfolio with class and internship projects. You can complete a required AXP experience hours in an architecture firm. You learn key tools, Revit, AutoCAD, Rhino, and Adobe. Pass the ARE licensing exams. You could choose a commercial focus like office, retail, hospitality, mixed use, etc. And grow your career. Junior designer, project architect to then become senior roles. So what professions are commercial architects also qualified for? So just to list them out: project manager in construction or design firms, urban planner or planning consultant, interior designer, especially with commercial interiors, construction manager, building inspector or code compliance specialist, real estate developer or development consultant, and sustainability consultant, LEED or green building.
Okay.
So what characteristics go with this profession? Strong creativity for designing functional and visually appealing commercial spaces. Technical knowledge of building codes, materials, and structural requirements. Problem solving skills to address design, safety, and spatial challenges. Attention to detail in drawings, measurements, and specifications. Project management ability. That's to coordinate contractors, engineers, and clients. And then finally, communication skills for presenting ideas and working with diverse teams.